Hey Engearment, Derek Toshner here, coming to you from my back porch in Wisconsin. Yes, I have an obstacle course and a rock wall in my backyard. I just take my training very seriously. But I would have loved to have shot this video for my recent trip to Mount Denali in our expedition. However, we had some pretty extreme conditions. In fact, Alaska Mountain School said it was the worst conditions they had seen in the summer that they can ever recall. There was only a 28% success rate on the mountain this year. I am happy to announce that one of those 28% was our expedition. So very proud to have summited Mount Denali and got a long time to test the gear. The expedition was only supposed to last 16 to 21 days. We ended up spending 24 days on the mountain, and so got to use and abuse the gear that I'm coming to you with from the comfort of my backyard. So the first piece I'd like to talk to you about is the MSR Lightning Ascent Snowshoe. Now, they have this ballistic grade decking here, and that's the first thing I'd like to talk about. I found that there was a lot of pros to this snowshoe and only one con that I'll come to you, and I'm not sure it's gonna even be a con for you, but you can make that up in your own mind. Yeah, the decking was incredible. You know, we have a 50-pound backpack on, we have a 40-pound sled, and even though these are incredibly maneuverable with this Paragon binding, you know, you're stumbling and fumbling, you're constantly stepping on this decking, you know, and with the crampons, and it is just amazing to me how well this decking held up. So pro number one, really strong, durable decking. You know, I even used this hiking them out around Mount Rainier earlier in the year, just kind of wanted to break them in, use the straps a little bit. So I've definitely put these things to the test. And they're very durable snowshoe. The second was really the crampons, guys, and the edging. This is a 360 crampon style, 360 traction they call it. Just absolutely incredible. You know, we were walking on anything from when the float plane got to the glacier, you jump out and you're in knee-deep snow instantly. So the first thing we did was put on our snowshoes, and we're stomping down platforms to build our tent sites and snowshoeing through deep snow. We ended up getting a lot of fresh powder that we walked through just fine. I'm a 200-pound guy. Well, I was 204 and ended up at 186 at the end. But I got the 30-inch snowshoe. This comes in a 22, 25, and 30-inch snowshoe. I believe those are for like 180 pounds, 220 pounds, and 280 pounds respectively. But once again, I'm a 200-pound guy-ish with a 50-pound backpack, 40-pound sled. So I just got the 30-inch snowshoe just because I wanted to feel comfortable. They do sell a 5-inch tail that goes onto there if you want to add it on. But the grip was just incredible, you guys. We were walking, like I said, through the fresh powder. There's time we were walking through packed snow. We didn't really need snowshoes. But then other times that the wind was so strong that it had just stripped the mountain of the snow and it was down to the blue glacier ice. And boy, I didn't lose any traction at all. So another major pro to this shoe was, you know, the toe crampons, and you have the crampons all the way through the middle. The kind of just the saws down the edge makes up that 360 crampon, and just phenomenal traction. The Paragon binding, you guys, this is awesome. In fact, I did put my, I hiked in a triple boot Olympus Mons by Sportiva here and put it on there so you can kind of see how that webbing goes around the shoe. That I had pre-fit to the shoe early before I left. Put it on with the straps, made it sure it was the, you know, the right width and height, and it was stretched out and everything, and we were ready to go on both sides there. Those never moved the entire trip. Those pieces, that stayed still the entire trip. I had no problems with this. This is a freeze resistance material, so it stayed stretchy the whole time, which was very nice. In fact, you do want to sort of stretch it out a little bit before you go. That's one thing I noticed when I strapped it around my heel here. You can see the buckle and the tab here. Is that this rubber strap here that goes around the heel, it was a little bit like stiff when I first got it, and now it's just like really nice and stretchy. So used it a couple times, made sure I stretched that out before I went on the trip. The other thing, when you're putting this snowshoe on, I think it's really important to like stretch this rubber back and stretch it around the heel of the boot, give it a good tug around the heel of the boot. Not that you put it inside the buckle first, and then you're trying to like pull it tight with inside the buckle. You're gonna struggle with that, especially considering, you know, you're probably gonna have mittens on or at least a glove when you're doing this. So I would stretch it around my heel, then I'd put it into the buckle and strap it down tight from there. Very, very simple on and off. Felt comfortable the entire time. Okay, speaking of comfort, we have this heel bar here. There's a specific name for it on the website. I believe it's the Ergo Televator, they call it. I called it a heel bar. This thing was a lifesaver. In fact, I forgot it was even there. And I'm walking uphill like this, and my calves and Achilles are screaming. And as soon as I thought, man, this is getting really hard on my calves and Achilles, I was like, heel bar, Derek, heel bar, let's try it. Very, very simple. Reach down, and with the basket of my trekking pole was able to pull this up. So I didn't even have to like kind of bend down awkwardly and lift it. And then my heel sat right in there. So when you're walking uphill and the snowshoe is at this angle here, your boot stays level, and that takes a ton of pressure off your Achilles tendon and your calves. It's hard to put a number on it, you guys, but I feel like it was at least 30% easier to walk with that heel bar up as compared to down. So when I got to camp, I could focus on building my platform, building my tent, you know, building my ice walls, and I didn't have to think about how sore and fatigued my calves and Achilles were. So that is a fantastic thing. In fact, I've looked up other reviews on this, and this heel bar Ergo Televator is one of like the downsides to this snowshoe, and I didn't have a problem with it whatsoever. It never fell down on me. Stayed up the whole time, loved it, and I think other people in the expedition were pretty jelly of me having that. In fact, a lot of times during rests, I'd just turn around and I'd kind of do like a yoga squat, and with my heels raised up, it just felt kind of comfortable just to squat down in these things. So yeah, fantastic all around snowshoe. Now, I told you there was one con to it, and it may or may not be a con for you, but I have a size 13 boot here, and that heel bar Ergo Televator you can see right here in the back. Sometimes I would step down and it would push, and my heel would get stuck in that, and I think it was just perfect. And maybe if I adjusted the mesh in the front a little bit, I could get away from that, but it was a little bit annoying periodically having a flat foot like that. My size 13 just kind of stuck in that thing perfectly, and I'd have to kind of like kick it down just to get back out. Obviously it popped out quite easily, but then just to get back to this action here, it was mildly aggravating, very mildly. In fact, not enough for me to not use this snowshoe again and not recommend it. There were just so many positives to the snowshoe. That was a very, very mild occurrence. It didn't happen all the time, and it was so infrequent and so not annoying that, like I said, I'm going to use it again and definitely recommend this snowshoe. So if you get it, hope you enjoy. I'm sure you'll love it on your expeditions. And until next time, good luck in the field.